Deserts. When the term comes to mind, you might think of cacti, camels, or maybe even one of the best trilogy franchises ever directed. What you probably don't think of is Canada. That's right, there's actually regions in Canada where even these guys can grow, but not a lot of Canadians even know about that. So, let's learn a bit about the Wild West, shall we? I'm here in Osoyoos, BC, and this is a little prickly pear cactus, one of just 4 species of cacti known to survive in Canada. But how can desert plants grow in one of the coldest countries on Earth? Well, it actually gets a lot hotter here than you'd expect. Like, really hot. When you think of the warmest city in Canada, you might think of Victoria or Vancouver, but it's actually here. If you consider the average daily max temperature, Osoyoos wins by a long shot. It's not even close. Which is why it also has the warmest lake in Canada. Cheers. Alright, so Osoyoos is hot, but aren't deserts also super dry? It's a good question, and it is. It's one of Canada's driest cities, in fact, which is why desert plants from Mexico and California grow here naturally. But just how dry is it? Well, Osoyoos gets less rain than LA, which is currently facing a water crisis, and way less than other Canadian cities. So, case closed. We're standing in Canada's only desert. Well, not quite. With scenes like this, it sure looks like it, and local businesses and media will sure have you believe it, but Osoyoos isn't actually a desert. Instead, it's only classified as a semi-arid region because it gets over 25 centimeters of rainfall a year. This is the threshold that separates deserts from shrubland. And Osoyoos isn't alone here. This is Grasslands National Park, part of the largest semi-arid region in Canada, the Prairies. Not only can you find 3 of Canada's 4 cacti species here, but the windy environment helps erode the soil and prevent taller shrubs from growing, creating fields of grass and prairie dogs, the speedy squirrels of the Badlands. If you're lucky, you might also get to see some dogs running around with stolen frisbees. In fact, nearby cities like Medicine Hat record even less rainfall than Osoyoos. And you're probably familiar with these dry landscapes if you've visited Dinosaur Provincial Park. But all of these areas still have one thing in common. They're not dry enough to be deserts. It turns out that the only true Canadian desert is back in BC, and it's a lot further north than you'd think. This is Kamloops, a valley city over 3 hours north of Osoyoos. And besides having a funny name, the metro area consistently ranks first in hottest summer, most annual days above 30 degrees, and least rainfall of Canada's 100 largest cities. When we visited, it was already 20 degrees in mid-March, which made for a very happy puppy and the warmest winter camping I've ever done. But even still, we're not standing in Canada's only desert. Every region we've looked at so far is semi-arid, and on paper, Canada is just too wet to have desert environments. Until you notice an anomaly. A small town about an hour west of Kamloops that you probably haven't heard of, yet it might just be Canada's only true desert. The town's name? Ashcroft. It's quaint, it's peaceful, and it's the single driest microclimate in Canada. Questioning the Data wrote an incredible article defending this municipality as Canada's only desert, and I encourage you to check it out. He factored in variables like wind, hours of sunlight, temperature, and precipitation from historical government climate data to figure out that it's the most arid region in Canada. But if you're expecting to visit and see endless miles of sand dunes, you might be a bit disappointed. The desert isn't exactly large. It only encompasses an area of about 20 square kilometers. What it does have, however, is a frontier ghost town just waiting to be explored, bighorn sheep grazing on the side of highways, views of train cars riding into the sunset for miles, and you can't go wrong with abandoned 50s car lots. So if you want to go shoot a western and you can't get to the States because of COVID, you know exactly where to go. In the end, Osoyoos may be advertised as Canada's only desert, and the Prairies may have some well-known badlands, but just how western can a place truly be if it's surrounded by vineyards and farms? Much like Canada's only desert, the true hidden gems are always found on the road less traveled. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something today. It was super fun to film all those locations, so hope you enjoyed. I guess this is kind of like an intro to my channel too. So I'm Kenny. I like science and video editing, so expect videos like this and expect them to get better over time. I think the only goal here is to get people to go outside and explore, but if you learn something too, then that's a bonus. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one.